The Baltimore Ravens have already drafted Malaki Starks, but there's still some holes on the roster. I've already done a video on edge, corner, and now it's time for the offensive line. Who are the best available offensive linemen for the Baltimore Ravens? Day 2, let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Ravens Media. Bring you Ravens content every single day. If you want to see that daily Ravens content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the notification bell as well if you want to get notified every single time I upload a brand new video. If you're watching this right before the draft and you haven't seen the others, check them out. They're all going to be about 3 to 5 minutes long. Just me highlighting just 3 or maybe even 2 players that I think are really good and the Ravens could absolutely draft in the first 2 rounds of day 2. Obviously, there's only 2 rounds. That kind of sounded dumb, but we're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. Would love to hit it before next season starts. Make sure to check out the Malaki Starks video. But here we go. Let's talk about some offensive linemen. Not the prettiest of positions, but there's potential that we do need someone. Now, there's 2 players that I think are good and won't be available. But if they are available, I think they're basically must draft players. And that's Airenotae Ersery out of Minnesota, and then Ozzy Trapilo out of Boston College. I don't think either will be available. If they are, though, sure. I think both of them fell. I think both of them could have been first-round players. They both have terrific size. They could, probably both play guard at worst, but very good tackle prospects. But now jumping into actual players that I will discuss more in detail. The first one is Charles Grant. Charles Grant out of, William and Mary is kind of one of those beloved small school prospects. He played tackle in college. He's more likely to switch to guard. He also did play a little bit of guard in college, but he's really big. He dominated at William and Mary, which is what you want to see out of a small school offensive lineman. And then his athleticism. He's very athletic. He can get downfield. He could be a swing tackle if you need him to be. Kind of a mauler in the run game. That's kind of what the Ravens are looking for in their offensive line and at their guard position, right? That's one of the issues they had last year was Daniel Faalele was unable to really get downfield. Getting a guy like Charles Grant would allow them to have a little bit more versatility in those downfield blocks, those pulling blockers, because Daniel Faalele, he's good when he's not moving. Like that's the problem. But when he has to move is where he really struggles. That's where he gets beat. That's where the Ravens offense starts to struggle. Charles Grant could fix that or could play on the left side, replace Patrick McCarry, fight with, Andrew Voorhees when we get to see who becomes the starter. And if we get a good battle and our backup ends up being Charles Grant, who has positional versatility, I'm good with that. And then next up is Dylan Fairchild. He's more of a round 3 pick at the offensive line position. 6'5", 318 pounds out of Georgia. He gave up 1 sack in like 28 starts he played in 34 games. He played 6 games 3 years ago, but 1 sack and 1 hit total. That's very, very good. Playing at the left guard position. And, coming out of the SEC, the Ravens do love their Georgia players. We already drafted one in Malaki Starks, but, I think he's a better prospect than Ben Cleveland was. He's a little bit more fundamentally sound. Ben Cleveland, was unable to get going, but we still re-signed Ben Cleveland. So we're going to see what he's able to do. And I think Dylan Fairchild would have a chance to compete to start at that left guard position. Again, has the size and mobility, not the most mobile player of all time. Their center was a little bit more mobile than he was. But I think Dylan Fairchild would be solid. But I do want to just give a quick caveat. Don't be surprised if we take a center. There's a couple of centers in this draft that you could kick over to guard. And if Tyler Linderbaum leaves, you could maybe bring them back to center if need be. So don't be surprised if we do take one of those really athletic centers because there are some good ones in this class. Let me know in the comment section down below if you want the Ravens to draft O-line, if you like the guys I picked or who your O-line targets are. And I'll see all of you guys when the Ravens make their first pick in the 2nd round. Hopefully they take multiple. Hopefully we can make a big trade. Maybe we make a big trade and I make a video then. But subscribe for more, hit the notification bell, and check back when we get our next pick. You'll see my instant reaction posted within 5 minutes of the actual pick. Should be a lot of fun. See you.